Jazz has always been about a social commentary as much as a musical commentary. You know, right the way back to the genesis of jazz on the Square in New Orleans, when the slaves on a Sunday were allowed to come out and play their own music, their own rhythms, their own African beats. Jazz has always been about making a personal, reflective self-expression about the world around you. And that's what we've tried to do with this project. We've tried to look at the world around us, the whole thing with the newspapers, the hacking, the power that people like Murdoch have. You know, I think people have come to realise over this whole Leveson affair and all the other things going on in the press that just a few people have so much control over the media agenda. You only have to look at how politicians have sucked up to these people in order to get them on side, because their opinions matter so much, and yet they've turned out to be, you know, alleged criminals. And not necessarily in the same vein, but the jazz community, especially here in the UK, is similar to this. There is a few people who sit on various committees for events, or they control some of the jazz media things, and they sit down and define what jazz is and what jazz isn't. And a lot of people just blindly go along with that. They kind of go, okay, well, this is jazz, but this isn't jazz, so therefore we're not going to write about it, or we're not going to talk about it, and therefore we're going to discount it because it doesn't, I don't know, play standards, or it doesn't appeal to people over 60. Well, do you know what? Most of the jazz audiences that I've played to over the past 5 or 6 years, particularly when I was away from London, I'm sorry to say that most of the people under 40 on those gigs were other musicians who were either there as students of the music, or they were there trying to see if they could scout the gig. And that's the truth. And it's a hard fact to acknowledge, and it's difficult to acknowledge it. But if we don't acknowledge it, we're going to lose jazz in this country, because it's just going to be the preserve of these music colleges, and it's going to be an elitist thing, and it's all going to be about recreating the past. You know, I've lost track of the number of times I get emails from quite established jazz clubs who are telling me about yet another tribute night to Miles Davis, or to John Coltrane, or to, I don't know, Oscar Peterson. I mean, for goodness sake, I got an invite to a Humphrey Lyttelton band, and Humphrey's passed away years ago. You know, it's kind of like, where are the new musicians coming from? Where is the chance to innovate, the chance to be true to jazz's principles of being a social commentary on what's going on, if there's no opportunity to actually play modern music, to actually play music that relates to people? For me, one of the key reasons why I've went down this route this time is I got invited to do some work for Head Candy and some nightclub DJs, playing some saxophone over their records, and it was great fun. I initially just was booked to do the sessions, and then I was asked to do some live work, and initially I was a bit, you know, I'm a jazz musician, I don't really go playing these kind of things, and yet, do you know what, I did it, and people loved it. And I was playing, to a certain extent, a lot of the same music, a lot of the same feelings that I played when I'm up there on the bandstand, but there's only 20 people there. That's not to say there's only 20 people on our gigs, but in certain places where it's marketed as a jazz standards gig, that's all you get. And as I've said before, I'm only 31. I hope to have another 40 years of a career, if not longer, in this business. And most of the people to whom I play what I'm being told to play, or what the media is telling me to play, I'm not going to be around them with the best will in the world.
ba 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 ba.